Hello, got a great question that came across the blog about air conditioning and the timing of air conditioning and when do they get turned off and when do they get turned on and the fans blowing and how much noise that makes. You can ask an expert, my assistant Don Adams, who many of you know, to address that.
Hello, my name is Don Adams. I'm the Assistant Superintendent on Support Services for Granite School District. We had a great question come in through Superintendent Bates about how we heat and cool our schools and why we do what we do. One thing that most people don't know is that we're required by law, and frankly it's just good practice, to have at least 3 complete air exchanges in every classroom in every school, every hour. So we're moving the air in and out of your room 3 times an hour for your safety and for your student safety. We're looking at a great example of an air diffuser in a ceiling in one of our newer facilities. Again, this is part of where we're pushing the good air in. We heat it or cool it depending upon the season. We filter it to make the fresh air that we bring inside as good and healthy as possible for you and your students. I do know in a lot of our older schools, our fans seem to run constantly. Well, those systems just aren't quite as efficient as our newer buildings. We're pushing a lot of air through tunnels. We'll go down into a tunnel a little bit later, and these are just small basements that go throughout the building. They're not very efficient, and our fans aren't very powerful. So again, we push a lot of air to remove all of those bad contaminants that even we breathe in and out. We want to make sure that you're staying healthy, keeping those cold and flu bugs out of the room. That's really important to all of us, as well as keeping you comfortable so you can learn. We're currently standing in one of our fan rooms. This is really near the beginning of where it all starts. We take fresh air from the outside, blow it through these filters to clean the air up before it gets into the rest of the school. Here's a great example of a fan room that's pushing air directly out into your school through this big wide opening. In this particular school, we're actually chilling the air here at the air handler so it blows nice and cold before it gets to your room. Later, I'm going to show you a system where we cool it right at the entry into your room. To make that cold water that cools off the air, we use big chiller systems. We use Freon and other gases and compressors to take heat out of water to make it super cool. Behind us, you'll see boilers. This is where we take natural gas supplied by the utility company to heat water. We either make hot water that goes through our pipes, or we make steam that goes to a heat exchanger to make hot water that goes to the pipes, to the radiators in your classroom to heat you up on a cold winter's day. In many of our older schools, we're pushing air through tunnels. And so there are parts of your school that your custodian goes into to work on your air conditioning system well below your classroom. This looks a little funky, but this shows you how some of our older buildings are structured. We're actually in a faculty restroom. That gives us access to a tunnel. Down here, I have pipes, dirt floor, rubble. That's what makes some of our older buildings inefficient and why we're running the fans constantly just to get those 3 air exchanges per hour in. Up here is where all of the magic happens. We have what's called a Vav Box, and in essence it's where the air encounters a radiator. And if we want to cool the air, we're sending 47-degree cold water through. The air blows across that radiator and it comes out nice and cold, maybe 50-55 degrees. That's how we cool the room down. If we want to heat the air on a cold winter day, we're going to push 130-degree water through those pipes. The air blows over the radiator and it comes out around 90 some odd degrees, and that's how we heat your room up to that comfortable 70 degrees. We know that some of you are in older schools. In that case, you have a radiator. Natural convection from that hot water going through the radiator pushes it out. That's not enough to guarantee that we have those air exchanges. So for example, in this building, we have air blowing through ceiling mounted registers. That's how we keep your air fresh and as comfortable as we can. What we want to remind everybody is our goal is to make the school safe and comfortable. If you're having problems with your heating or cooling, talk to your custodial staff and or your administration. They will talk to us in maintenance, and if we need to come out and tune up your system, we'll do that. Again, these older buildings, they're not as efficient as we'd like, but even the new buildings have some problems too. Maintenance and support services is here to make your day as pleasant as possible. Thank you.